Hey friend, and welcome back to the Alex Makes VR podcast. In today's episode, I'm answering the question, how long does it take to build a profitable business, Alex? I'll be diving into all that in this episode. If you've got a question or a subject of things you want me to talk about on the podcast, please reach out to me. I would love to hear from you. Alex Makes VR on Instagram and Twitter. If you would like to be notified every week when these episodes go live and also get my insider tips and tricks delivered straight to your inbox, then please sign up for the newsletter, alexmakesvr.com. Speaking of being notified and speaking of social media, I'm not exactly on form with my segues today, guys. Bear with me. I'm giving away an Oculus Quest 2. Basically, it's already been announced. So if you follow me on Instagram and Twitter or on the newsletter, then you already know about this. But I'm giving away an Oculus Quest 2. I was thinking about buying one for myself, and I just thought, do you know what? I've already got several headsets. And although the Oculus Quest 2 is meant to be, it's meant to be transformative for the VR industry. It's meant to be the first headset that really kind of shows VR's true potential. So in that way, I'm super excited. For the headset. At the same time, I've already got a load of headsets, and I just thought, you know what, that headset doesn't belong to me right now. I feel like it would be much better suited to give one away and help one of you guys with your business or kickstart your career or whatever it might be. Maybe it's just to kind of like introduce your kids to VR or whatever it might be. I want to give away a Oculus Quest 2 to one of you, especially you guys who listen to the podcast. This is for you. So please go and see the giveaway post on my Instagram and Twitter. It's a simple tag and share competition because your girl basic. And basically, it's just my way of trying to give someone the opportunity to get started in this industry, really, that doesn't have 300 quid to splash out on a headset, especially during these tough times. So yeah, really excited to be giving that away. Please go and support the podcast by sharing and also being with a chance to win an Oculus Quest 2. I think it's going to be really fun. So you'll find all the details about the giveaway on Instagram and Twitter. On Twitter, I'm going to pin the post to the top of my profile. On Instagram, just look out for the post in my feed that probably has a big giveaway sign on it. So yeah, shall we dive into today's episode then? Okay, it's back to business. So the question, how long does it take to build a profitable business? The answer to this could be super short and sweet. This could be like the record shortest podcast episode of all time, because the answer is there is no answer. If we knew how long it took to make a profitable business, then business and entrepreneurship wouldn't be such an art form. People often think it's a science because there's a lot of finance, there's a lot of practical stuff that you have to do and follow. But really, the art of business is an art. It's nuanced. It's different for everybody. So my advice would be, how long does it take to make a profitable business? Well, that really depends on what kind of business you want to run. And there's a few different things that you can do to kind of decide on how long it will take to be profitable. And these three things, to me, really boil down to defining your goals, reinvesting in your business, and making your business sustainable. So let me touch on those. So number one, defining your goals. So you could literally run a business for 20 years and it could be a big multi-million pound revenue company with hundreds of employees, but you might not be profitable. You might essentially spend more in your business than you earn. And that's all profit means, for those of you who don't know. Revenue, the amount of money that you bring into the business, minus burn rate, the amount you're spending on your business, equals profit. What money is left over after you've taken the money you've brought in and you've minus the money you've spent out, that leaves you with your profit. And that's really the number you want to pay attention to. So you could spend years building up companies. Something like Spotify, one of the biggest companies in the world, not very profitable. In fact, I'm fairly certain they've only ever recorded a profit in like one quarter or something. I remember reading that recently. It's mad, really. They're a multi-billion dollar company, but they're not profitable because they're not supposed to be. They're not trying to be necessarily right now, because the whole business model behind them is expand, get as many users on board, become one of the biggest companies in the world, and then either sell the company for billions of dollars or exit. That exit and selling it is the same thing, or IPO, which means they go on the stock market, and that's when they become profitable. So yeah, at the moment, a company like that, even though they're massive, they're so successful in their own right, but they're not profitable. So you could run one of those businesses, or you could literally start a business tomorrow, take your £200 camera that you bought off eBay, go make a virtual tour for £500, and you're profitable because you've made £300 profit on that job. And actually, the next job you do, even more profit because you already own the kit. So really, it depends. It depends on what kind of business you want to run. It depends on what is your goal long term. Do you want to run a business that gives you enough money every month to do what you want, go on some holidays, like a lifestyle business? Or do you want to build the kind of business where you've got an office and team members, and you want to work with huge companies and then potentially either sell the company or use the profits to, I don't know, work on artistic work? Like, that's a very different kind of business. So first, define your goals, define what kind of business you want to run. And you can define those goals and change it down the line. I've changed my mind several times on this. I started as a solopreneur working by myself in my business, like doing all the stuff myself. Then I decided I wanted to build a production company. So I worked on building an in-house team and working with bigger and bigger crews and clients, and then realized that actually, as you do that, the profit goes down and it's a lot more risk and a lot more hard work and a lot more burnout waiting for you at the end of it. So now I'm in a phase of my life again where I've kind of changed direction, and I don't have in-house crew that I work with. I've got a couple of in-house team members that help me with other things like marketing and delivering kind of assets for me and helping me with the more kind of the comms side of the business. But when it comes to shoots and stuff, I will just bring in freelancers. If I work on those I'm more going towards a model where I'm like a director producer for hire. So it's okay to change your mind. It's just you need to decide on what kind of business you have and where it's going and how much profit you want to make. Because the truth is, all you need to do to have a profitable business is spend less than you make. That's all it means. And so then it becomes, okay, well, how much do you want to make and what are you making that money for? You know, it's pointless making tens of thousands of pounds if you don't know what you're then going to spend that on. Like, because you might kill yourself. You might be killing yourself for hours and weeks and months just to make this money. But if you've not got a plan with that money, then it was all for nothing, really, isn't it? So define your goals, step number one. Step number two, reinvesting in your business. This is really important, and this is something that, again, you have to reassess. So, for example, in order to be profitable, you might need to, 1 year, spend loads of money on kit that you're reinvesting in the business so that you can work on bigger client projects because you're going to up the quality of your productions. You might need to reinvest in training and upskilling to be able to deliver a better service or deliver more of that service. So being able to shoot a virtual tour, but then also being able to do the kind of the post-production, being able to do, maybe you're even doing a bit of your own coding in Unity to build a VR app, whatever it might be. You might need to reinvest in those things. And that year you might not be profitable, but the next year you might have made yourself twice as profitable as you were before because you've reinvested in the business. this is something that I constantly have to remind myself of, because it can be very easy, especially when you're going through tough times like we are now in COVID. It's very easy to just kind of like run on that treadmill, get as much cash in the bank without thinking long term about what you want for your life, but also for your business. And at the end of the day, if that money sits in the bank, it's taxable. So reinvesting in your business, if reinvesting £3,000 this year means that next year you're going to make an extra £20,000, well, that's really worthwhile. So profitability can sometimes be a spectrum, because for me personally, my business wasn't profitable for the first 2 years at least, because every single time I made a load of money, whether it was like £1,000 here or 5,000 there or whatever it might be, I then immediately went and spent all of that money on either new kit that would or new software that would make my processes more efficient or better, higher quality. I would also spend all that money on traveling, like to go and meet people in the community. The amount of money that I spent on train tickets back and forth to London and like cheap hotels, like so that I could go to the networking meetups. I was really going hard, reinvesting that money. I spent a lot of my own money doing things for free. I would like travel down and do all sorts of kind of like mentoring, or like being like kind of a training person, like the training leader on like workshops and things, because I knew that like A, it was the right thing to do, B, it would get my name out there, C, it would introduce me to a new network, it would be around like-minded people, it would help me refine my skills. But that cost me money. But in the long run, that has made my business more profitable. It's meant that for those 2 years that I spent thousands of my own money to get to that point, I'm now the other way. Like now I can make 10 times that because I put in that work to begin with. So it really, really depends. It's so individual. So don't worry if sometimes you are profitable and other months or other years you have to reinvest, which means you're not profitable, because oftentimes that will mean that you're more profitable in the long run. But again, it depends, because if your aim is just to have enough money every month to pay your rent, pay your bills, maybe go out for a nice meal, maybe like take your partner or your family like somewhere nice on holiday a couple of times a year, that profit looks very different to someone whose profit is, needs to be hundreds of thousands so that they can build a company that they can sell to a bigger company. You know what I mean? So really, number one, define your goals. Number two, don't be afraid to reinvest in your business to make you more profitable long term. And number three, sustainability. Making a business that is sustainable, in my opinion, is more important than making a business that is profitable. And this is kind of, again, it's a bit of like a philosophical viewpoint, but I've done several things in the past that have made me profit, but were just not sustainable. I would come off the back of like a 6-month really intense project and just be a horrible human being, because I would be horribly burned out. I'd been feeding my body nothing but crap. I'd been doing, sleeping like minimal amount of hours every night because I'd just be working so hard. And I just end up like fobbing off my friends, like not seeing my family. When I did, I'd be grouchy and just in a bad mood just because I'd be like so tired and burned out from work. And I'd have a million one things like buzzing around my head, like that I needed to get done for that particular job. And I just, now I like look back and I go, I don't regret it, because I needed to do those things. I needed to have those experiences to get to where I am today. But at the same time, that is just not sustainable. And for me, now I would much rather run a business that was slightly less profitable, but way more sustainable. I would rather have 5 years of really kind of consistent, fluid, like work that excites me but doesn't burn me out, than 2 years of very, very intense work that just really destroys your soul, but makes you the same profit that you would have gotten in those 5 years, if that makes sense. And again, that is a personal choice, and it depends on where you are in your life. what other factors, like, do you have a family that you're trying to balance? Do you have, a degree or education that you're undergoing? Like, is there other things in your life that dictate how profitable you can be? Don't worry about it. The aim is not to be the most profitable company. You are only in this race with yourself. The amount of profit that I need every month is not going to be the same as the amount of profit you need every month. Is not going to be the same as the profit that Richard Branson needs every month. It's so individual. So don't compare yourself. Don't try and think, but if I did an extra 3 projects, I could have, an extra 10 grand in the bank. Okay, great. But what's that 10 grand for? What is it worth it? Is it worth the extra hours, the extra pain in the ass, the extra sweat, blood and tears, the extra pissing everyone off in your life? Is it worth it to be that little bit extra profitable? And for some people, yes, it is. And for others, maybe not. Sustainability, to me, feels like the most important thing in a business now. And it's taken me a long time to realize that. So there you go. Those are my 3 points for basically not answering the question, how long does it take to be profitable? Because the real answer is, it depends. But it depends on those 3 things. And the way I would suggest defining for yourself how long it will take to be profitable is to define your goals, know when to reinvest in your business, and also make sure you're prioritizing sustainability rather than profitability. I hope this helps. I really do, because there's a lot of you out there that I know are on this journey. And I think when you first get into business, and it's very scary, there's loads to learn. It feels like a massive task, and it feels like there's so much that you need to consider. But hopefully this has reassured you that you don't need to be comparing yourself to other people, and there is no right or wrong answer for this. Just really go with your gut. And if I can ever help, if there's ever any really, really specific personal question or personal situation that you want to talk to me about that I can advise you on, please reach out. I'm literally an open book. So message me on Instagram and Twitter, AlexMatesVR. As I said, I'm doing this giveaway. I'm super excited about it. I would love you to go and enter the giveaway to be in with a chance of winning the new Oculus Quest 2. You can do that by going to my Instagram and Twitter. You'll find the post with all of the details there. Sign up to the newsletter, alexmatesvr.com, and I will see you again next week, my friends. Well, I won't see you, will I? I wish that I would see you. Maybe I should do a video version of the podcast one day. Although, to be fair, that will literally just be me pacing around my living room. Let me know if you'd be into that. But for now, have a great day wherever you are in the world, and I will speak to you next week.